Do you feel like your English grammar is pretty good, but the moment you open your mouth, you feel like you sound a bit like a textbook, or maybe you're just hesitating, you can't get your words properly? Well, trust me, you're not alone here. I have tons of students who feel the same way. They tell me this all the time. And the secret to sounding native or natural when you speak English is not necessarily about learning more vocabulary, but about how you express the words that you already know. So in this episode, I'm going to give you 3 little tweaks that you can use to just make you sound more natural, more fluent, and get you speaking in the way that you want to speak. But before I show you that, please do make sure that you are subscribed to the channel so that you get a notification every time I put out a new video. And we're going to get straight into it. Alright, so the first thing you can do to improve your speaking and get better is to practice your speaking. I know it sounds really simple, and I know you're probably really annoyed that I've just said that, but it is the best way to improve your speaking. A lot of people say to me, oh, I take lessons every week, or I learn lots of vocabulary, or I do grammar, but I can't speak. The reason you can't speak is because you don't speak. Okay, I know it sounds really simple, but it's true. So practice. I know the next question you've got is, well, how do I practice? I don't know anyone who's English. I don't know anyone who speaks English. Okay, there's a few different ways that you can practice that are free and that you can do, 5 minutes a day or something like that. And if you're consistent with it, then it will help you to speak English better. So the first thing that you can do is look for a language exchange. If you live in a city, there is probably a language exchange in your city. So either go on Facebook or Google and literally just Google your city and the word language exchange, and you're probably going to find one. I've never lived in a city that didn't have a language exchange, and I've lived in quite a few places. So just Google it and go. Even if you feel like you're not good enough to speak English, the good thing about a language exchange is that there'll be people there with all different levels of English. So in your head, you're probably thinking, oh, I'm going to be the worst person there. You're not. Okay? There'll always be someone worse than you or less fluent than you. There'll always be someone more fluent than you. But the beauty of language exchanges is, if there is someone there with a higher level than you, that's good for you. A lot of people think, they get a bit embarrassed around people who speak better than them in English, but that's the worst thing you can do. The best thing you can do is hang around with people who speak really good English, because then you will learn English from them. You'll learn new words, you'll learn different grammar, you'll pick up slang, phrasal verbs. If you spend a lot of time with people who are the same level or lower than you, your English might not improve that much. It might become more fluent, but it won't necessarily become more accurate. You won't really learn vocabulary. Just a quick little update for you. Talking about vocabulary, I have just released a vocabulary and grammar platform. This is also really going to help you with your speaking as well. On the platform, there are tons of vocabulary and grammar exercises for you at advanced level. You can go through, play lots of interactive games, and get all of that vocabulary in your mind. Practice it actively before you then use it in speaking. So by the time you come to speaking, it'll already be right at the front of your brain, and you'll be able to express yourself exactly the way you want. So click the link up here, and you can access that platform. You can try it completely free, and you can get going with a bit of vocabulary. The second bit of advice that I would give you to improve your speaking is to stop translating from your native language. I know, okay? I know this is really hard, because I do this as well when I speak in other languages, especially when I first started learning Italian. It was obvious that I was not Italian because everything was coming out in English. But if you really want to improve the way that you speak in English, you need to learn an English way of speaking, not your native way translated into English, because it will always sound a bit odd, and native speakers might not be able to understand something you say because you're directly translating. Also, you need to remember there are things in your language that are not translatable in English. There might be concepts, there might be idiomatic expressions. There are certain things you just will not be able to translate. And if you can't translate it, you can't express yourself either. So you need to find the English way of expressing it. So one good way to stop translating is, first of all, learn phrasal verbs and learn idiomatic expressions. These are absolutely vital for English, phrasal verbs in particular, because this is something very specific to English that other languages don't have. Romance languages, as far as I'm aware, they do not have an equivalent to phrasal verbs. I'm not sure about other languages because I don't speak other languages. Let me know in the comments if your native language does have an equivalent. But phrasal verbs, they're very complex, but we use them all the time for everything. If you listen to native speakers talk, native English speakers talk, you will hear them using like 3 phrasal verbs in one sentence. So you need to be able to understand them and use them if you want to sound kind of natural when you speak English. Right, so the next question you're obviously thinking is, well, how do I learn them? I've tried learning them. They're a nightmare. I hate them. A lot of English learners do hate phrasal verbs, and I understand why. So to learn phrasal verbs, I do have a course, actually. I have a video course on phrasal verbs. I'll put the link in the description again. Kind of teaches you different topics. And it's super interactive, it's super fun, there's lots of games, there's flashcards, and you get a lot of practice. That's the main thing, practice. If you're just passively learning vocabulary or phrasal verbs, it's very difficult to actively use that when you're speaking. So you need to practice it. So if you click the link in the description, I'll put a discount code there for you so you can get the course a bit cheaper. You'll be able to practice tons of phrasal verbs there. Same with idiomatic expressions as well. I also have an idioms course as well. If you're interested, I'll put the link there as well. So yeah, just make sure that you're learning phrasal verbs and idioms, and then you're trying to use them. Even if you don't quite get it right, the person you're talking to will probably correct you, and then you'll be able to remember it because you have the association of being corrected. So always try to use it if you can, and then whoever's speaking to you will probably understand what you're saying anyway. So, all right, so that's the second thing. So let's recap. First of all, we've got practice speaking. Second of all, stop translating, start using phrasal verbs and idioms so that you can express yourself properly. And my third point for you, my third bit of advice to help you to improve your speaking is to stop caring about what other people think. This is probably the best advice I can give you and the most important thing to remember when you're speaking English. I know that you probably feel like you're not very confident. If you're watching this video, then you obviously feel that your speaking is not good enough, because you wouldn't need to watch this video if it was. So you're probably feeling like you're not very confident, or that you're maybe a bit embarrassed or something. When I first started learning Italian, I did not speak at all because I was terrified about what other people would think of me. I would go, for example, I moved to Italy, and I would go to the market, and I literally couldn't even say a sentence. I would just hand over whatever I was buying and pay. I wouldn't speak. I was mute because I was so scared that someone would laugh at me, or that someone wouldn't understand me. But the moment I stopped caring was the moment I started to speak, and the moment my speaking got better and better and better. So that's my biggest advice for you. Stop worrying about what other people think of you. Your speaking is not as bad as you think it is, and nobody cares. Nobody cares what you sound like, okay? They're not going to laugh. They're just happy that you're speaking in their language, or they're just happy to be speaking to you at all. Okay, so just stop caring. It doesn't matter what other people think. It matters that you're practicing. Okay, so once you stop caring, that's when you'll start speaking. That's when your speaking will go better and better and better. All right, so they are my 3 tips for you. Okay, stop caring what other people think, start practicing, and stop translating from your native language. I know it seems really simple, it's easier said than done, but if you just try it out, you'll notice that your speaking will slowly get better. All right, so that's all from me. If you found this video useful, please do give it a like. It helps it to reach more people so that they can learn some more stuff about English as well. And as usual, make sure you're subscribed and you hit the bell so that you can see my next video. If you do have any questions about English, anything at all, just leave me a little comment and I'll get back to you. And that's it. I'll see you in another video soon. Bye.